Doctor who refuses to acknowledge gender choice challenged by trans women. What? I make so many videos on trans stuff. It's insane.
When I use the word gender, I use it in the same as sex, assigned at birth. And yes, you mentioned my religious views. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I believe that God made mankind male and female. And I believe that this is extremely important to us as a nation, as a generation, that we uphold this truth.
But Doctor, can I just say, this truth, whatever you deem to be the truth or whatever, in today's world, this ain't going to change. Right, it's not going to change. You've lost a job over all of this. Why don't you? Let's start with the easiest option first. Why don't you just go, yeah, whatever. You mightn't believe it or not, but why don't you just tick a box and save your job?
Well, first of all, it would be dishonest for me to do that. I would be, and lying is sinful. It would be sinful before God. And secondly, it's the same thing, isn't it? I do not believe it. And if we have no doctors...
Do you medically not believe it?
I medically not believe it. If we have no doctors or nurses with consciences anymore, anything can happen. We have to be allowed to have a conscience when we work as doctors and nurses, even if we disagree with each other on some things.
What about somebody who has had the full transgender surgery and it is...
That you can't have a full transgender surgery. You can't change your chromosomes. We just watched a video, it's up on YouTube now, where we watched a guy who tried to breastfeed his baby, but you can't do that because he doesn't produce milk. You cannot change your sex. The only thing you can do is get surgeries to kind of look like the other sex, but you're still going to have a prominent forehead if you're a man. You're still going to have broad shoulders. You're still going to have a deep voice, even on estrogen or whatever drugs you have to take. If you're a woman trying to become a man, you're still going to be smaller than most men. You're still going to have a more thin body. You're going to have narrow shoulders. You're going to have a thinner face. It just doesn't work out. You're going to have a prepubescent beard. It doesn't work out. You cannot become the other gender. You cannot. And this doctor, what he's saying is very appropriate. He's saying if we have doctors that just go with whatever, if they don't act on according to science and truth, they can just do whatever they want. It's not going to work out. It's not going to be healthy. And he's got the right idea that if we lean into this notion that you can become the other sex, it's just, it doesn't make sense. You can't do it.
Believes that they have changed their sex, maybe from male to female, female to male, and they are living as that person.
They have the right to
Would
tell
you
me
still not call them by the gender that they prefer?
They have the right to call themselves by whichever gender they wish, but as a Christian, I believe that gender is assigned at birth and that God made them male and female and that this can't be changed.
Monroe, assigned at birth, you were assigned a gender at birth, but you believed that was the wrong gender, right? So Monroe, doctor, is the person she is today, but on, I presume, your birth certificate, it says you are a different gender.
Yes.
Yes. Now, doctor, do you have a problem with that? Monroe is comfortable in her own skin, who she is, what she is. Would you actually say to her, I don't recognise that?
Can I actually just say surgery doesn't actually have a bearing on how far someone is with their transition. You can be trans and have not even transitioned yet, and that's actually the most crucial point.
So the minute
when people
you
are their most vulnerable and they need to be believed.
See, more this is where it becomes very complicated, very confusing, and actually I think perhaps makes it easier for the doctor, because he's actually saying if physically you are...
But that is his job, to help people, and he's not doing his job by not helping people.
His job is not to help people, it's to heal people. There's a difference. Because someone can, it's a very thin line we're working on here. If you want to help someone who's suicidal, you could just shoot them. You could kill them. That's kind of helping them. You get them what they wanted, but it's not healthy. Just like with someone who claims to be trans, you can help them by looking more like the opposite sex, but that is not at all healthy. There's a difference between helpful and healthy.
Never been anybody that I've refused to help, ever, not once.
Well, we're talking potentially, aren't we?
So we have a situation here. Take Facebook, where we have 78 genders now, I'm told. Now, when gender becomes indeterminate, you can have 7 billion genders. or you can decide, or you can believe that gender is assigned at birth. Now, if gender is assigned at birth, it follows automatically that gender cannot change. It cannot change. It's impossible.
Gender identity. You're confusing that with sex.
So you're talking medically and physically.
I'm talking medically and physically as well. It's recognised within medical practitioners that this is the process and this is how you help trans people. And this guy is saying, no, I'm not going to help people because I don't want to refer to them how they are because of my religious beliefs. If this is his religious beliefs, then he should not be in the field, and he was right to lose his job.
You can't write off Christianity or religion just like that.
I can. Any religion. I'm not writing off Christianity.
I'm
writing off religion if that's going to stop you from helping people. You're a public servant.
So
working for the NHS of taxpayers' money, you should be helping people, not using your own beliefs to play God, essentially.
If you remove everybody like me from the NHS, there'll be no NHS left.
I'm not talking. You can have your own. You can have your own beliefs, but don't.
They're both men. They could just start swinging. Just saying.
Impose that on other people.
Okay, but just
we have to have people with belief, and they have to be able to hold that belief.
Let me
say what that belief is in the NHS.
Let's talk about
I'm not saying that you can't be a Christian. I'm talking about you imposing that and affecting people that are highly vulnerable and need your help.
Okay,
I think her penis is imposing a lot more than this man is.
May be highly vulnerable. They may be in lots of situations that they don't want to be in.
84% of young trans people are either self-harming or have attempted suicide.
What he's saying is, I suppose, to have...
And we think to help them is to try to do the impossible of switch their sex, which is not possible. The guy in the dress is mansplaining. Oh my goodness.
To be some order to things, and when you look back, I mean, how does genealogy continue? How do records be kept when someone?
We're talking about gender identity. We're not talking about biological sex.
Gender and sex are the same.
They're not the same.
Amen, sir. They are the same.
We're living in a gender-confused generation. Our children in our schools are being moved into a gender confusion situation. Our parents need to stand up on this. Our parents need to defend their children. We are in a situation where we are completely changing the society in which we live.
But we're not dealing with confusion. It's not just happening, David, that you can't stop it. That's just the world changing.
No, it's being
people are becoming
driven.
More accepting of how people feel.
Well, that's like something out of George Orwell's 94. This is the way it's always been, but it's not. Throughout history, find anywhere in Christian history other than today when any Christian believed this.
You can believe it
the Bible.
Yourself. You can believe it yourself, but don't impose that on other people.
Off Christianity.
No, I'm not writing off Christianity. You can practice Christianity on your own time. You cannot be.
See, and that's part of the issue, and that's what the left wants. They want you to practice Christianity in your own mind. They don't want you to practice out in the real world. We can look at the lockdowns, you know, California, New York. We can look at the issues at the church in Canada right now. Is that the world hates Christianity because it's the truth. We follow Jesus Christ. Everyone likes Jesus the rabbi, but no one likes Jesus the Lord, holy God, who says, follow me and let me rule over you. No one likes that. Nobody likes it because people want to be their own God. They don't want to listen to God. And the world hates God. That's why they put him to death. So they say they're okay with Christianity. Obviously, that's not true. Christians are persecuted all over the world. Not really in the States, but quickly we are losing our First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. We saw that in California where they were suing churches over a meeting. We're seeing that in Canada where churches are being burned down. Pastors are being arrested. We're losing traction. But that's part of the issue. And it's because they hate Jesus, they hate the truth, and people don't want to see the truth. They don't like it. So they say, we're not against Christianity. We're not against it. As long as you practice it only in your own mind and don't impose it anywhere. Meanwhile, they indoctrinate our children in schools. We read yesterday that at schools you're allowed to get hormone treatment without parents' permission. You're allowed to leave school property in some states, including California, New Jersey, Northern Virginia, New York, and a few different other states. You're allowed to leave to get cross hormones. You're allowed to leave to get birth control without your parents' permission. That's all okay. They indoctrinate us. Now they're in Blue's Clues and various other childhood TV shows. They're on Elmo. They're in Sesame Street, all over the place. just this gender regime that's just going crazy. That's the real indoctrination. And yet a Christian stands up, says this is bad, this is not logical, this is not normal, this is not real life, it's not natural. Suddenly we're the bad guy. And that's part of the issue. They are shutting us down. But that's just how it goes.
From your point, where men and women do not have
Why are we
conscience.
surprised?
This is
have
purely
to have a conscience to practice medicine.
No.
Okay.
You can have a conscience, but you also signed an practice of ethics.
This is
to
is this
serve
something
people and
based
not just
purely,
the ones you choose.
Monroe, please, is this based purely on a religious belief as opposed to a scientific
It's bigotry.
belief?
Thank you. By God, I cannot go along with that.
Well,
but
it's bigotry.
thank you very much.
We'll give you the last word.
Monroe. Sorry, I've lost the track.
This
Is
poor
it
guy.
science? I believe that science is very. I believe that when the science I studied at primary school on anatomy was very clear. The science I studied on genetics was very clear. Yes, but the anatomy hasn't changed and the genetics haven't changed.
Society has.
Society changed. Man, that guy, he was being kind of a bee. Just
This was very clear. Yes, but
this man here, this man with the plastic bazoombas, he's being kind of a bee. Just saying. Real quick, before you leave, I want to thank you for watching this video, but I do request that you subscribe and hit that bell notification because according to this very real statistic, only 1% of you are subscribed, and that's kind of low. So please subscribe, hit that bell notification, and help me out. It is tough out here for Christian conservatives.